Hello, and welcome to this HelloID provisioning product release video for October 2023. HelloID provisioning is a 100% born-in-the-cloud, easy-to-configure and maintain user provisioning solution. It helps organizations to fully automate the user lifecycle management in the network by connecting the HR or SIS as a source system. Every change in this source is detected and processed into the network. No more worries about stale user accounts, accumulation of licenses or access rights, manual user management, or compliancy issues. Please note that in this video, we will only show the new functionality for the October 2023 release. Please go to docs.helloid.com or our YouTube channel for more videos. Let's get started. In this video, we'd like to start with a PowerPoint presentation and then demo the new functionalities for the October 2023 release. We have two new items in this release. First, Powershell V2 mapping support for an object type. With this feature, we introduced the option to create an object by using a dot in your mapping and to use this as an object inside the PowerShell script. The second new feature is the Powershell V2 mapping support for an array type. This is the same as the object type, but for this we introduced the possibility to also use an array type based on string values inside the PowerShell script. Let's see how these new functionalities work in detail. The first feature, PowerShell mapping support for an object type, is an extension to the PowerShell V2 field mapping. And this new feature is the support to have a dot in your field name, which will result in an object. As you can see over here, we have created an object called department, and this will be handled as an object so we can enter the variables department.code, department.displayname, or department.externalID inside our PowerShell script. So inside the PowerShell script, you can use this to send an object directly from the mapping to an API endpoint, and you don't have to map this from the script into an object anymore. There are a few remarks on this feature. First, the field name. In this case, the department.code should always start with a letter. For example, if we rename this to 123, so no letter, this is not allowed, but 123 with letters is allowed. The same restrictions apply to an object in the same way. So, for the attribute of the object, and for example, in the notation in which we have the code, the same restrictions apply, so it should start with a letter. 123 is not allowed, but if you use department.123, then it should be usable. The objects are case sensitive, which results in this case, department should start with a capital D. That is allowed. But should we start with a lowercase and end with a capital letter, that is not allowed. This is because the JSON serialization has been used inside the script. The last remark on this feature is that it's not supposed to list objects within objects. So for example, department.code is a single layer object. This is possible. But if we create department.list.code so that we can create a list containing codes, display names, and external IDs, this is not allowed because you can only use a list of objects that are one layer deep. Let's continue on to the second feature, the PowerShell V2 mapping support for an array type. The second feature is to support an array type beside an object, and this can be found inside the mapping as well. Here's an example of proxy addresses, and as you can see, the type has been extended. Where it was only text before, you can now select array as well. There are some remarks on this type as well. The array types cannot be used in notifications right now. There are some limitations, and the field limitations of an array type is different compared to the limitations of a text field. For a text field, the current limitation is set to 1,000 characters maximum, but in the case of using an array type, more information could be desirable. For that reason, the size of an array type is 25 times more compared to the size of a text field. Another remark is that the content of an array field will always be converted to and returned as a string value in the script. Let's show you an example of this. We will create an array of 3 types: a numbering value, 1, a Boolean value, and a simple text value. When we preview this, you can see that the outcome of this will be text. So this numeric value is converted to text. The Boolean value is converted to text, and of course, the text field is still text. You will not see the double quotation marks in the preview, but it will be used in the PowerShell script where the object should arrive from the script. It's also good to mention that you can combine these features. So, for example, a new object type can contain an array type as a value inside. The other way around, so to add an object in an array, is not natively supported. This is because we only support the use of string types inside an array. So you can only have an array containing string values. Let's continue with the technical part. We'll go to the configuration of a script, and you can see that the fields from the object are available for the autocomplete functionalities in the PowerShell script. So in here, we can use our action context.data, where it is basically stored at .department.code. And once we run this as a preview, you can see that we get the value of the code of the department. This should be the code of the department of Albert. This is used for department.code, department.externalID, or other properties from the department object, which are basically leaf objects of the department. Please be aware that the root note of an object is not listed in the autocomplete, but could be used if you'd like. So for example, if we go back to the department object and run the preview for the same person again, you can see that there is an object containing all the properties from the mapping of the department. So in this case, we have the external ID, the display name, and the code. Another small note on the arrays in PowerShell is that when an array is created, it will be a fixed size. So the use of the .add method isn't allowed. But if you like, you can still add some values to the array. For example, if you have the action context of data, and then the proxy address.add, because the proxy address's attribute was of type array, which is not supported in this one, but if you would like to extend the proxy address, you can simply use a += sign and then add your value to the property, in this case as a text. This is supported, so it can be used. The last addition in this demo is how to use the leave object in notifications. We will go to the notifications, and then to configurations, and inside we have the variables. This means that the object, in this case the data of the department object, can be used directly inside a notification, just by simply clicking on these variables to add them to the notification text. A remark on this release is a breaking change to the HelloID agent. It should be updated and running to the latest version of HelloID. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know if you have any additional questions. You can post your question in YouTube or send it to isupport@toolsforever.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive frequent updates about improvements and changes in HelloID. Have a wonderful day.